Hey guys, welcome to first session, World in Revolution AAR. This time playing Ottoman Empire. Things kind of did work out well in the first session for me, though I really had a great political setup before the session. And I decided to risk a bit and see if I can actually profit from it, and now I'm not exactly sure because I've pissed off quite few big countries in the first session, and I might pay for that in the second one. So my first move was to grab Sicily from two Sicilies with a slight help of British fleet. I could have done it myself if I actually could supply my navy. Unfortunately, in multiplayer, most of the people don't do the same stuff that AI would normally do, so they do consume more artillery, more clippers, and that way you can't really grab any clippers to supply your navy. And Ottomans do start with a huge navy, but just two Sicilies could somehow get supplies for their navy, and I couldn't get supplies for mine. So whenever I engaged their fleet, my fleet would just retreat. So I needed help from UK to clear their fleet, and then after that it was an easy war because I just needed to occupy Sicily and wait until their troops move from the islands to mainland, and that worked out quite well. Now obviously that pissed off Sardinia, even though I actually never planned on keeping Sicily in the long run. I was more of looking to trade it after some time, and once Sardinia is actually close to forming Italy, which they're really nowhere close. They're 14th. So I don't really understand why are they pissed so much. It wouldn't be an easy war for them to win against Sicily, and if they wanted to, they should have gone for it first. So what I offered after the first session was for them to give me Tunis. Actually, first of all I just offered Tunis in exchange of Sicily. They refused, and then later on, since they realized how important that would be for them, actually I don't think it would be so important, but the Sardinia player really likes it, so I said my offer is Ethiopia plus Tunis for Sicily. It's not entirely unreasonable because population on their part would be slightly higher than what I would be offering them, but then they're getting a state and I'm only getting colonies, so it kind of makes sense for them to transfer that to me. Now as for other goals, of course I needed to capture my cores from Egypt. Now there are two options for you to go and do it. So the first one is just to grab all of your cores, and then in the second war try to get some colonies and actually useful stuff, because most of these cores aren't that useful, and the only good thing about those is that every core that you grab back gives you 10 prestige, so that's the way for Ottomans to stay as a great power. Now I decided to go for a more aggressive style and more kind of late game oriented, so I went for one core state, and then rest would be colonies: Sudan, Dongola, and Upper Egypt, capturing Luxor so I can get those bonus research points in later game. And now I'm currently fighting a second war against Egypt, taking the rest of my cores and few more. I think I'm gonna take Red Coast and maybe even Western Desert, just to be able to connect my territories here, and so I don't have to actually travel through Libya, which is terrible because of the deserts. And in these deserts I can actually make railroads, so that would increase the supply limit, which is very important. So in the first session I was allied with Russia and UK. That basically made sure that no one would ever attack me. And the second session I'm trying to renew those alliances, even though Russia and UK are currently fighting over Sinai. I think UK was slightly pissed by me for letting Russia get military access and grab Sinai, and later on Russia declared war on UK. Actually that war was kinda inevitable, and it was just a matter of time when UK would be declaring war on Russia, but then Russia just decided to not waste any time and declare war on UK. Now they're fighting over Grand Columbia, and I believe UK wants to grab Suez from Russia. Now unfortunately for them, Russia already grabbed a lot of war score from battles, so actually UK can't have any war goals yet. And this is not a ticker war score, so there is no way for UK to get any war score on their part, aside from blockades and maybe winning some battles. Now, what happened in this war was that Russia had some like 100k troops here, and UK had like 4 times or 5 times more brigades around Suez, but they didn't really expect the invasion of UK. And Russia had a huge navy at that point and tried to transfer, I think it was 75 clippers with loaded with armies, and they tried to transport it somewhere over here. But then UK actually managed to get their navy and sink most of Russian troops. I mean ships, but then Russia lost a lot of troops in that engagement. They managed to retreat through France and move all the way back to Russia, so they actually saved a lot of troops, but that was quite a costly attack, or actually attempt. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I actually did it in another game, but it's not really easy to do it. So at the moment it seems like this war is kind of a stalemate, and I don't know what will happen there. I would definitely propose a white peace, and that would be quite okay for Russia because they would be keeping Suez, but then UK really wants to get that Suez back, so I don't know how they intend to win that war. They might want to call NGF or Austria in and win that way, but that's not gonna be an easy war. So I don't really know what's gonna happen there. What I would like to propose is kind of neutral solution. So the Ottoman Empire gets Suez. I pay some amount of money to Russia and UK, and they sign a white peace. I think that would be ideal. Russia doesn't get to keep Suez. UK doesn't get to acquire Suez from them. So I'm kinda neutral country controlling Suez. If they want to make a canal, I will always just give them the province of Suez so they can actually build it, because I probably won't have tax when the time comes. But it's very unlikely they will accept that deal, so we'll see what happens there. Now unfortunately, due to my late game oriented strategy, I wasn't able to remain as a GP. Also, I lost quite some serious battles against Egypt. They actually had a great general, 5 attack, 5 defense, and my army attack isn't that great. It's only 4, I think. Yeah. So Egypt was able to win quite some serious battles and inflict quite losses to me. Also, I think I lost quite some prestige there. So those wars against Egypt were really costly. As you can see, I can only support 24 brigades. That was down to 15 before this war. So it's really not a great situation. But it's slowly growing up now, because I was able to afford a lot of money. And now my military spending is at 100%, so I'll be getting some more troops quite soon. Now, as for the other countries in Europe, we see NGF forming really early. I think they formed in 1837, 38 maybe. So only 2 years in the game. And there is also SGF, formed by Austria and controlled by Austria. Now NGF had a huge lead in troops compared to France at one point. I think they had like 100 and France had only 50. So I thought NGF would be attacking France, but then it seems like they had some kind of a deal and NGF didn't actually attack France so early. We could expect the Franco-Prussian War, or whatever you want to call it, since there is no Prussia anymore, for Alsace-Lorraine sometime soon. I can't really say when, because NGF and France kind of threatened me because of taking Sicily. And then now the loudest one is actually Spain. I'm not too afraid of Spain, although NGF and France would mean quite a trouble for me because they actually have large fleets. Not actually sure about NGF, but I'm sure France has a large fleet. Actually, NGF has, whoa, 145 ships. I think that's even more than France. Yes, there it is. So NGF is quite a strong power on the land at the moment, and on the sea. Oh, one more thing, I actually acquired Serbia, which is quite a decent catch. As for my future plans, I do intend to grab all of the Arabian Peninsula, but that might not be my priority. So as for now, I want to grab those things that I already am in war for with Egypt, and then secure my borders. Basically, as you can see, my literacy has gone up. It's 16.4. I believe you start with 7% or something like that. So soon enough we'll be able to start industrializing. I do have a few factories, one in Thrace, one in Sicily, or in Serbia, and I'm building an artillery factory here. Unfortunately, machine parts production is really terrible. Can't actually see here, but it was in like 800 demand and only 30 supply, so it was terrible during the game. So I'll try to avoid any conflicts in Europe if possible, and try to renew alliances with UK and Russia, just to keep me safe. Even if France, Spain, NGF, or even Sardinia attack me during the next session, if I only have alliances with UK, that will be enough, because they can simply blockade them and prevent any of their ships from reaching my lands, which will mean that I'm pretty safe. So the good thing is my literacy has gone up. I actually have all the important techs. So next tech, I think I'm gonna go for a bit of naval techs, just to get steamers and a few shipyards. Also, after that, I think I'm gonna switch to military industrial complex, but I'll need 100 military power for that, so it's gonna take a while to do that. The Ottomans actually start as military industrial complex in the beginning, but I don't like keeping it for a long time because you need culture tax, and military industrial has negative bonuses to culture. So I only grab medicine and then I switch to traditional academia, which I think is better. Now Sweden is a great power. There is no Scandinavia yet. We'll see what happens there because we now have a Sweden player, so there might be some transfers of Denmark. We'll see. It's currently controlled by NGF. As for Spain, I think is going to be my main rival here because they already have quite a decent literacy. They start with 12%, I think, and they are quite ahead of me. Let's see, 29%, and I'm only 16, so they do intend to be quite aggressive against the Ottoman Empire due to that capture of Sicily, so I have to be careful about that. I don't think France and NGF can actually spare that many troops and fleet to fight me because they have to be worried about Russia and UK and even between themselves, so they will have to fight there. I think I'm currently quite fine with being neutral towards Austria, because Austria also doesn't really want Italy to be formed early on. And they were actually quite friendly in the beginning, but now Austria, I think, seems to be realizing that they could actually gain more from me keeping Sicily than they would actually lose from Italy being their ally. And I think that's a good choice, but we'll see what happens next. USA and Mexico not doing too much really. USA got most of their cores back, so USA is going to be a very strong power. On the other hand, we have Japan that westernized quite early, and they're fourth great power, so it's not going to be an easy task getting back into great power spot. Really the only thing I've lost from not being a great power is that I don't get bonus research points, which actually does hurt a lot, but really, it's not such a huge deal as if I played some other country that actually needs to be a great power. For example, like Sweden needs to be a great power to form Scandinavia and such things. So it's not that serious blow. I believe I should be able to get into great power spot by the end of the next session, which is tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be an interesting session. I really hope I make a proper diplomacy. I don't have much time left, so I will need a strong alliance, at least one, to keep those potential attackers out of Sicily. So we'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching and have fun.